Oh, good morning.
Morning.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, you remember Louis Hensler?
Louis Hensler.
Yeah, you know the theory that there's no such thing as a bad boy? He was the exception that proved the rule.
Oh, yeah. You transferred him to John Adams when he told Mr. Yarnell he'd get him if Yarnell didn't give him a 70 in science. Sure.
That's Louis.
So how's he doing at Adams?
Oh, he's become much more ambitious now. Over there, he's threatening teachers for 85. But today, John Adams strikes back.
They're essaying one of their students over here.
A tiger named Dennis Joplin. I don't know, baseball teams trade outfielders for pitchers. We trade hard-hitting delinquents for fleet-footed absentees.
So why do you want me here?
Because I am assigning Dennis Joplin to your homeroom.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Besides, with a record like that, I'd be afraid to meet him alone.
Mr. Kaufman, Dennis Joplin is here to see you.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie. Send him in, please.
Dennis?
Come in, Dennis. This is Mr. Dixon. He's going to be your homeroom teacher.
How do you do, sir?
Hello, Dennis. How are you?
And pleased to meet you, sir.
Yes. Now, Dennis, you were sent here, you know, because everybody felt that a fresh start with a clean slate would do you good. Well, before we get into any clean slates, let's talk about this filthy slate right here.
Guess my record's pretty bad.
Well, you know, getting essayed out of a school is a very serious business. I hope you understand this can be your last chance, and...
I'm going to make the most of it.
And I was going to suggest that you'd better make the most of it.
Mr. Kaufman, I'm not really as bad as what's on there.
You mean your permanent record isn't true?
Well, it's a little exaggerated. Would you like to hear my side?
Go ahead.
Well, at Adams, there are a few of the older teachers who really don't know what us kids are all about. This one teacher is really bad news. Now, here's the one really lousy thing I did. This teacher has a hearing aid, and well, one day in class, I got the rest of the kids to make her think their hearing aid was broken. One kid would stand up and say, "May I leave the room?" Another kid would say, "Can I please close the window?" And then the rest of us would go, bzzz, you know, like that. And, well, she kept hitting her chest. She thought the mechanism had gone haywire. Well, she ended up running out of the room. Next day, I told her how sorry I was. But from that day on, I was finished at Adams.
What do you mean?
Well, no matter what, that teacher was going to get even. I sure deserved to get punished, but, well, a lot of that stuff just isn't true. And she stopped me from running for class president and had me kicked off the basketball team. You know, I would have started if it hadn't been for her.
You must be pretty good. Adams had a tough team last year.
Morning, Mr. Dixon.
Oh, hi, Richie. Richie, this is Dennis Joplin, who's transferring from Adams. The basketball player. Richie here is the manager of our team.
Hi, Richie.
Hi. We can sure use you because our 5 starters graduated last year.
Just go on then, Miss McIntyre. I'll take care of you.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Dixon. You know, I think I'm going to like it here. See you later, Richie.
All right. Mr. Dixon, you have any connection in the music world? See, me and a bunch of the kids been planning to go to the Rolling Stones concert Friday night. And now we can't get tickets because they've been sold out for a month.
Sorry, Richie. I wish I could help.
Not exactly Phi Beta Kappa, huh?
Well, up until long division, you were doing fine.
That's no joke. When I was a kid, I was good in school. But then...
Then what?
Then Mom and Dad started to fight. Well, he wasn't around very much. Mom had to go to work in a drive-in. That left me and Angie, that's my kid sister, kind of on our own.
What's your father doing now?
The thing is, Miss McIntyre, those grades are mine. I know what you're getting at, but my home life wasn't any worse than a lot of kids.
That's true. But it never hurts to understand the reasons behind the student's record.
Well, okay. About 3 years ago, my dad went to see a movie, and he never came back.
Did you ever try to tell any of your teachers at Adams about all this?
No.
Why?
Well, like I said, I didn't want them to think I was making up excuses. I don't want you to think that either.
awful. You know, that boy was railroaded out of Adams by a vindictive teacher. It's just terrible.
Well, he sure got a lot of bad breaks that nobody at Adams seemed to take into consideration.
Now, wait a minute, you two. George O'Neill, the principal over there, is a very fair man. A kid would practically have to pillage and burn 2 continents before George would essay him out.
Yes, but if he took that teacher's word for it, what chance does the kid have? You know, I'm still young enough to remember what it's like.
What does that make me, Whistler's mother?
Miss Johnson, as a future teacher, whose word would you suggest we take, the students or the teachers?
Well, I don't know, but even a criminal is innocent until proven guilty. But if a teacher accuses a kid of something, that's it. Anyway, I'm just filled with righteous indignation.
Well, it's a change from your usual bubbling with enthusiasm.
Look, Dennis was condemned to Walt Whitman, not the state penitentiary.
I still think that principal was unfair.
George does his best. None of us has the time to do the job we'd like to do.
Amen. I'll drink to that.
As long as it isn't get the principal week.
Oh, of course not. And to prove it, you can have my pickle.
I don't want your... Well. Thank you.
Hey, Dennis! Me? Yeah, come on over. How you doing? This here's Helen. She don't say much, but she's a real swinger.
Don't listen to him.
Hi, Helen.
Dennis just transferred over here. He's gonna play basketball for us.
Out of sight.
I quit. Bertie keeps on giving me the elbow. Why don't you quit shoving? Why don't you find yourself another victim?
Oh, wow.
Come on, Rich. We need a 6-man.
Not me. I got a split. Hey, this guy will play.
Okay. Come on.
No, I better not.
Oh, go ahead, Dennis. Show this dude how the game is really played.
Will you come on? The period's almost over.
Thanks, but I got slippery shoes.
What do you think I've got?
Well, I get all sweaty. No kidding, I'd better not.
Is this guy putting me on?
Go ahead, Dennis. You don't have to play hard with these guys.
I'd like to see you play, Dennis.
Come on, it's only for 10 points. Yo, you hurry up. Don't ruin the game for us.
Okay, but I'm gonna take it easy.
Now, you're with this guy here and this guy over here, okay? Come on, we'll take it out.
See you later, Dennis.
All right, let's go.
I wasn't ready. I didn't even know it started yet. What do you want, an engraved invitation?
Okay, look, now we're ready to play basketball. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, man, what did I do to deserve this?
Well, I told you I had slippery shoes.
I think your head's slippery. What's wrong?
Oh, my ankle, I twisted it. It's the same one I hurt last year.
Doing what? Putting on your socks?
I've had it, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we believe we'd have done better 2 against 3.
Oh,
Where'd
man.
Rich find that guy? I don't know. Hey, Phil, come on in. Yeah, come on, man.
Dennis, you okay?
I'm fine.
I was worried the way you're limping.
Yeah, it's an old injury. Lucky for me, it snapped right back. I heard it in the game I scored 34 points.
Well, Bernie and the others shouldn't have acted that way.
Well, a varsity player shouldn't get mixed up in a playground game with guys like that. Throws your whole style off.
The only time the whole year the Rolling Stones are here, and we gotta miss it.
Richie said we'll get the tickets, sure.
No, man, I can't help it. Tried everywhere. They all sold out.
Hi.
Oh, how'd the game turn out?
Not so good.
Sprained my ankle.
Any luck on the tickets yet?
No. This is the biggest disappointment of my life, too. Say, why weren't you born rich and famous?
Because I'm handsome, witty, charming. Can't have everything.
Willie Brown could help us out if he was still around.
Who's Willie Brown?
This dude who lived on my street, he can get into anything. The Academy Award, the Rose Bowl. He could sneak in a Ku Klux Klan meeting. He was a getting in fool.
Where's he now?
Well, old Willie found a way to get into the Army. And I don't think he found a way to get out.
Well, unless somebody comes up with a big, brilliant idea soon, we've had it.
You guys talking about the Rolling Stones concert Friday night? The one at McCracken Hall? I got a ticket.
You what?
Yeah, I got a ticket to the Stones concert. Why? What's the hassle?
We've been trying to get tickets for days.
Where'd you get a ticket?
Hey, I'll trade you Richie for it.
Well, I see my dad is best friends with Mick Jagger's father.
You mean that English dude?
Yeah, they met during the war. They were on the same ship on D-Day. Actually, my old man saved Mr. Jagger's life.
How did he do that?
Well, who cares? Can you get any more tickets?
Yeah, I can get all the tickets you want.
Wow, would you get some for us?
Tickets.
Why not?
I'll get them and you pay me back, okay?
Got your ticket?
Hi, Wilt. Used to see this cat play basketball. Never in my life I seen such...
He's getting us all tickets to the Rolling Stones tomorrow night.
Like I said, never in my life I seen such... slippery shoes. What about me? Can you give me a couple tickets? What do you say?
Anything.
Hey, look, let's all go together. Come on.
We can all go.
Okay.
Did you really did it?
Dennis, you're all right. You're
But the Bill of Rights says that a citizen should be allowed to own firearms.
Yeah, because in those days there was a standing militia, and people needed guns to fight the Indians.
Well, don't you feel that a man should have the right to defend his own home?
I thought that's what the police are supposed to get paid for.
That's true, but the police can't be everywhere.
More people got guns, more people get shot.
How do you feel about that, Richie?
What? Sorry, Mr. Dixon, I wasn't paying any attention. Guess I'm a little excited.
What about?
Well, a bunch of us kids got tickets to the Rolling Stones concert tomorrow night.
How'd you manage that?
Well, Dennis got them for us.
Good. Oh, Dennis, I want to see you after class for a second.
Mr. Dixon, you want 2 tickets?
You want her to see me?
Sit down. You actually getting tickets to the concert for all those kids?
That's right.
You mind telling me how?
Well, my Uncle Max is manager at McCracken Hall. He gets me tickets to whatever goes on there.
Dennis, you know how much Richie and the others are looking forward to seeing the Stones.
Are you kidding? It nearly blew their minds when I told them I could get them in.
Then you know how bugged they'd be if something should happen and they couldn't make it.
Well, what could happen? Listen, I can get 50 tickets if I wanted them. You wanted to go, Mr. Dixon? I can get you a couple tickets, too.
No, thank you.
Well, listen, I got bio next. I don't want to be late. Excuse me. Hey, let me know if you want a couple for tomorrow night. It's no problem. See you later.
I've been talking to George O'Neill for 3/4 of an hour. I haven't been on the phone that long since I tried to convince Myrna Needland to go to the senior prom with me.
It must have been an interesting conversation.
Fascinating. A, Dennis never had a woman teacher who used a hearing aid. B, he does not have a sister. And C, his father's a very successful chiropractor who lives at home. He lied from beginning to end.
I was afraid of that when I saw he couldn't play basketball.
George said he lied about absences, about being excused from exams. He even lied about his name. He called himself Fred Spicer.
Well, wasn't he sent to a school psychologist?
Mm-hmm. Within 2 months, the school psychologist said Fred Spicer is completely cured.
He even fooled a psychologist.
Yeah, but you can't fool the kids. In a little while, the whole school knew about Dennis. He didn't have a single friend. George kept switching him from class to class, but Dennis kept digging himself into one hole after another.
How long has Dennis been at Whitman?
2 days. Why?
He just dug himself into another hole.
Joe, I keep telling you, I don't have anything, not one single thing for tonight. No, we're all sold out. Well, I can give you 2 for Saturday. You've got them. I think you're next.
I'm Dennis Joplin.
I'm very happy for you.
I've come to pick up those 14 tickets I ordered for the Rolling Stones concert tonight.
Joplin? Joplin. I'll check my file.
Oh, come on now, not again.
What do you mean?
The last time it was a Beatles concert. I had to wait over an hour before you could find them.
Well, I see. When did you order these tickets?
About a month ago. I called back last week to make sure you had them.
Joplin. You called back last week?
I sure did. I called and whoever I spoke to said you had them ready and waiting. So somebody goofed.
I'm sorry about this mix-up.
That's okay, as long as I get the tickets.
Was it a lady's voice?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, it was a lady I spoke to.
That's funny, because no lady works here.
But
no lady has ever worked here.
Why?
You better beat it, kid.
Who wants a peanut butter and jelly?
I'll trade you for my tuna fish and banana.
Tuna fish and banana? So that's how your hair got like that?
Hey, Richie. How come Dennis wasn't in school this morning?
Oh, he probably had to go pick up the tickets. Anyway, how come you're always thinking somebody's trying to put something over on you, Jason?
'Cause most of the time they are.
Oh, good morning, Dennis. You're a little late, aren't you?
Something important came up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a real bummer. I had the tickets, but I lost them.
What happened?
Well, I was leaving McCracken Hall with 14 tickets. Pretty good seats, too. Now, who do you think I see standing in line? The minister from my church. You see, he'd promised these kids from an orphanage that he'd take them to the concert, and, oh, what could I do? I gave them the tickets.
Oh, it was very nice of you.
Yeah, but how am I going to explain to Richie and them? You can't get tickets anywhere.
Tell them about your minister.
Mr. Dixon, could you tell them? I mean, coming from you, they believe it.
No,
Why?
because it isn't true.
What's that supposed to mean?
Dennis, I saw you play basketball.
Oh. So I'm not a hotshot basketball player. Is that a crime?
Look, nobody cares how well you play basketball. What matters is that you felt you had to lie about it.
Well, everybody brags a little sometimes.
Sure. But everybody doesn't make up stories about hard-of-hearing teachers that don't exist.
Sure had you and Mr. Coughlin fooled, didn't I?
And everybody doesn't lie about their parents to excuse his bad grades.
You have the FBI checking up on me?
And they don't lie about being able to get tickets to a concert that's already sold out.
That was a mistake. No kidding. I just opened my mouth and the words came out.
It was a lie.
I didn't mean it.
But it was a lie, wasn't it, Dennis?
Maybe. But who does lie? I mean, after all, what's a credibility gap if it isn't a fancy name for a lie? And how about all those guys on TV that say use this stuff and they have all the girls chasing after you?
Oh, sure. There's a lot of dishonesty around. Too much. And that's one reason why we've got to be straight with each other.
Yeah, I guess so.
And another reason, Dennis, is that making up stories about ourselves does not change who we really are.
What do you mean?
Isn't that why you lie? To make people think you're something you're not? To make people like you?
Is that what I do? It sure doesn't help. You know what, Adams? I didn't have one single friend.
That's understandable. Nobody knows who you really are.
Maybe they wouldn't like me if they did.
Maybe. Maybe they would.
Quit it.
Quit what?
Giving me those Jason Allen looks. I didn't promise to get the tickets.
No, but your pal did.
here he is.
Hey, the man of the hour. My ticket, Robert.
Hey, where are our seats?
Listen. What I got to say is a little hard.
Well, I don't care. I'll sit anywhere.
Is something wrong?
I don't have the tickets. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
They're waiting at the box office.
No, I just don't have them. I messed up. It's all my fault. That's just the way I am.
What happened?
Couldn't you get the tickets?
You didn't get the tickets, Dennis?
Well, yeah, I got them all right. 14 tickets, just a little left to center. Great seats. Well, but see, on the bus, when I was coming to school, well, who do you think I run into? All my lousy luck. It's a minister from my church, and he tells me about this orphan's home, and... No, it's all a lie. There never were any tickets. My father's never even heard of Mick Jagger.
Why, Dennis? Why'd you do it?
I don't know. Just wanted y'all to like me.
Man, you're nuts. You know that? Hey, Dennis. See you Monday.
How'd you two spend your weekend?
We went to a terrible party Friday night.
It was a beautiful party.
Mm-hmm. Then you spend Saturday and Sunday arguing about it, right?
Right.
Good morning. Hey, how was the Rolling Stones concert Friday night?
Well, as a matter of fact...
Dennis came through, didn't he? I knew it. Was it really wild? I mean, tell me about it.
Well, I think it was definitely a musical breakthrough.
You were there, too?
Was he there? He performed.
Mr. Kaufman played with the Rolling Stones, huh?
He sang.
Sang! You sing!
Oh, I've been known to belt a few slurred, raspy solos.
Slurred, raspy solos. Slurred, raspy solos. You thought you were putting me on, huh? I was putting you on. I was. No, kid. You think that I believe that he would sing with the Rolling Stones? No, I know, but I'm not back. I mean, now, get that music over there.
It's your carburetor.
Well, do you think I need a new one?
Oh, I don't think so. Just clean up a little, be okay. I think you might need some plugs, though.
Got it all doped out, huh?
Well, it looks like I'm in good hands.
Bernie, it's the best we got. Oh, no, not again.
Here we are again, Mr. Blackwell. I know we're the two people in the world you most wanted to see.
First my bursitis, now this.
Mr. Blackwell, we wanted to give you another chance to yield gracefully. We're basically a non-violent group. WARP is committed to the concept of peaceful reform whenever possible. We're hoping today you might see the justice of our position.
I already gave you my answer, girls.
Oh, excuse me, Sandy. Did I hear you say warp?
That's right, Mr. Dixon. That's the name of our organization. W-A-R-P. Women are real people.
Oh, I didn't know there was a debate on that point.
No? Well, let me ask you, Mr. Dixon. Shirley would like to be an automobile mechanic. She wants it just as much as any boy here. Now, why shouldn't she be allowed to take this course?
I don't know, Sandy. Mr. Blackwell here is in charge.
This is a boys' shop. It's a boys' course.
All right, Mr. Blackwell. I'm sorry you can't see things more reasonably. I think you'll agree we've given you every chance.
You see, if you all talk at once, I can't understand you. Sandy, suppose you speak for your group.
Well, why shouldn't a girl be a mechanic if she wants to? You know, Mr. Kaufman, what it's like to get your car fixed, right? First, you have to make an appointment as if you're going to see your pediatrician, for goodness sake.
Right, it takes
It's been years since I've seen my pediatrician.
And then half the time, the only real work they do is add up the bill. You never can be sure they fixed anything.
That's not true.
Let her finish.
Why this indifference to the customer? Because the demand for mechanics is greater than the supply, because they're all men.
That's right.
Okay. Mr. Blackwell?
Okay, let's switch things around a bit. How would you like it if some boy wearing an apron came into your cooking class?
We had one last week.
Oh, by the way, how's Ferguson doing?
Wonderfully. Yesterday he got his omelet to rise.
Good for Ferguson.
Do you realize what would happen if we tapped this huge reservoir of women power? What that competition would do? Do you realize how many women mechanics are at this very moment washing dishes or changing babies? Free those women. Then you'd see the men tighten up and do a job.
Yeah, that's right.
Then who would wash the dishes and change the babies, may I ask?
Don't ask.
What law is there that says that only women...
Miss Adams, my turn. Now, this may come as a great shock to everyone, but you're not going to get an argument out of me.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
I agree with you that there is nothing in the school rules that says that a girl may not elect the automotive course. I only wish you'd come to me sooner. We could have avoided a lot of sound and fury. Now, John, I'm sure that the presence of one young lady in your class is not going to constitute a serious disruption.
That's easy enough for you to say. But how am I going to get the boys to keep their minds on cars instead of girls?
What makes you think they ever have? By the way, which one of you girls is the mechanic?
Shirley.
This pretty little thing?
This pretty little thing isn't big enough to drive a car.
Shirley's not a thing, pretty or otherwise.
Women are real people. W-A-R-P.
Why don't we save that for music class? As for you, young lady, do you know that there is a serious shortage of female conductors?
That's quite true, Mr. Kaufman. Thank you for the suggestion.
Now, Shirley, you'll report to Mr. Blackwell tomorrow.
All
right. Thank you, one and all. Goodbye, everybody. It's a pleasure doing business with you.
Hey, wow, he was and they hardly even put up a fight.
Oh, they never fight. They just patronize us.
Sandy? Hi, here are your notes. That stuff on H.G. Wells was just what I needed. Now all I have to do is figure out who H.G. Wells was.
Could you read them any easier this time?
Oh, I got your handwriting down now. As soon as I figured out that you cross your I's and dot your T's. What are you, Aries?
No, it's just difficult.
Mhm.
Actually, I'm Pisces.
Yeah, I'm Sagittarius. Are we compatible?
H.G. Wells. He was essentially a teller of tales. Now, George Bernard Shaw was a creator of memorable characters. Now, of all the English writers, Shaw was the creator of great heroines, like Cleopatra, St. Joan, Mrs. Warren, and Major Barbara, all of whom are what we would call emancipated women. You know, Sandy, you and the girls have been caught up in women's lib would really appreciate Shaw's attitude toward women. He was a great champion for women's rights in his day, you know? One of the things he said was, women are only called womanly when they regard themselves solely for the use of men. Bernie?
Well, that is very interesting. But what does it mean?
Well, it means that men have always tended to look upon women as sexual objects first and people second. Okay, now, what are you laughing at? Women want respect. They want to be thought of as equals. They don't want to be looked upon as just a pair of legs or a pair of... All right. Bernie, how would you feel if when you went walking down the street, girls whistled at you? See, you'd be flattered for a minute, but you wouldn't feel very respected, would you?
Well, if they don't want us to look at their legs, how come they all the time showing us?
Here they come. Hey, sweetheart, how's about you and me engaging in a little heavy breathing?
Ooh, I want a little one. Ooh, I love those little ones.
Hey there, beautiful bodies like yours are made, not born.
Now, will you tell us all about this harassment that the girls of Warp have been giving you?
Well, after that young girl pinched me and made suggestion remarks about my body, I cried and cried right through deep knee bends.
I plan to take karate lessons. And heaven help the next girl who dare lay a hand on my knee. I'm not hostile. I just want respect.
I know I have beautiful legs, but I want to be appreciated for my mind.
Well, at first I thought it was pretty humiliating, but I guess I can get used to being treated as a mindless sex object. And, well, you know me, I never had much ambition anyway.
And finally, George Vincent remarked simply, what kind of a boy do they think I am anyway? What a burn.
Well, but you know what they say, it's just publicity. Besides, I think it's kind of funny.
Of course it's funny. That's just the trouble. Everything we do is just ho-ho time. Men just laugh at us. And the more serious we become, the funnier they think we are.
Sandy. Hi. I've been meaning to tell you, I think what you girls are doing is just fine. Keep it up.
Thanks, Miss McIntyre. That helps a little.
Why, what's the matter? You are into something good.
Oh, Miss McIntyre. I mean, you're really nice and everything, and encouraging. But you're a woman. To the men, we're just a joke. No matter what we do, they just won't take us seriously.
Well, now remember, you've got a few thousand years of history to undo. And there's always been something funny to first-class citizens when second-class citizens start yelling for the same things. So give yourself some time. Find an issue that really hits them in where they live, and they won't laugh anymore, I guarantee.
Well, you're right. I know I'm impatient. It's just that I don't know why we have to wait.
I know what you mean. Right on.
Can we have a ball, please? Pretty lucky.
I'll do it again if you want.
Again? So now far away that is?
Give me the ball. Let her try.
Shoot me the ball, will you? Good shot.
Yeah. See you around.
Yeah, see you around.
Did you see that? Hey, Helen, when'd you learn to do that? I don't mean the shot. I mean the boys. Did you see their faces? What'd you see on their faces?
Well, they were surprised.
I'll tell you what you saw on their faces. Respect.
Look, I got a B+ on that test on H.G. Wells. That is the best grade of my entire life. And I owe it all to you. Of course, I crossed my I's and dotted my T's, and Miss Johnson couldn't read it, but...
Larry, we want to get Halloran on the basketball team.
Well, that's not hard.
I mean the boys' basketball team.
That's hard.
Oh, Larry, will you coach her? She can shoot like you can't believe. It's just that she needs some help on some of the other parts of the game.
What is this, your Amazon Society's latest blow for women's liberation? Why are you laughing?
Because you're not.
All right, Halloran, let's warm up a little. Let me see you move. Take it easy, relax, take a few shots.
I'm a little out of shape.
That's out of shape? Where did you learn to play like that?
Oh, I've got 4 brothers. We've always played together.
Uh-huh. And you really want to play on the team?
I'd love to play.
And why shouldn't she play with the best if she's good enough?
That's cool, that's cool. Secret weapon. Opposition collapses in confusion.
Listen, I'm worried about the opposition on our team.
But Halloran, that's just the point. Where's the victory without opposition? A little bit of luck, the boys will hit her gut.
I can hardly wait to see the expression on Coach Windish's face. All right, Halloran.
You can call me Hal.
All right, Hal. Let's try a few moves. Man-to-man defense. You should pardon the expression, but try to score on me.
All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. I want you to form a single line behind the midcourt stripe. As the ball is passed to you, sound off with your name loud and clear and go in for a layup. All right, you got that?
Yeah, right.
Okay, let's go.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
Wilson!
I don't see Halloran.
You see Larry Silverstreet?
Yeah.
Right behind him.
Jamaican!
Oh, she looks just like one of the boys to me.
Silverstreet!
But what about her voice?
Halloran.
Hey, you. What'd you say your name was?
Halloran, sir.
Let's see you do that again. Hey, nice shot. Good boy. All right, that's it for now. Practice tomorrow, same time. The following men report to me. Evans, Silverstreet, Howard, Halloran. Girls, Girls, now come on, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here anyway. Now, if you can't hold it down, I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. We can't run a practice here. I can't hear myself think. What are you doing here?
I've been here. I was in the scrimmage.
Oh, what are you talking about, the scrimmage? What's your name, young lady?
Halloran, sir.
But you can't take her off. You gotta give her another chance.
What do you mean I can't take her off? You see how I'm taking her off? She's off.
Mr. Kaufman, you see, that proves it. Mr. Windish had Halloran on the roster, and he's only cutting her because she's a girl.
If she's good enough, why can't she be on the team?
If she wants to play basketball, let her play on a girls' team.
But she's good.
I don't care if she's good. She's not going to play on my team.
Mr. Windish, at the risk of bringing up a sore subject, when you consider the record this team has had the last 3 years, I don't think we can afford to pass up any candidate.
You put that girl on the team, we'll be the laughing stock of the whole league.
Not if you won a few games.
All right, all right. Dixon, you want to be the coach? You be the coach.
I honestly haven't heard one real reason for keeping Halloran off the team as long as she qualifies.
Because she's a girl.
That's not a reason.
Okay. I think I've come up with a way to settle this thing if Mr. Windish will go along. Why don't we ask the boys from last year's team if they'd be willing to have a girl in their midst?
Absolutely. I got nothing against that. I know how they'll answer.
Okay. Let's take the vote. How many of you go along with Mr. Windish and would like to have an all-boy team? It's 5 against. Is there any point in asking if anyone is for having Miss Halloran join? Well, a hand.
Silver Street.
Miss Adams, afraid that settles it. I guess there's just a few pockets of resistance that still aren't willing to be liberated.
Listen, Sandy, a general can't go into mourning for every soldier that falls in battle.
Oh, go slam dunk your head.
Are you crying?
Yes. And often, and when I'm not smoking cigars or lifting weights, I laugh and cry, almost like a real human being.
Sandy, I'm sorry it didn't work out.
Tell Halloran that, will you? I can't face her.
She knows how you feel.
Well, you did all you could.
What do you mean all I could? I did better than I could.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah, but how's Girl gonna move up there for the rebound? Well, what makes the difference? I mean, you've got to admit she's the best shooter you've ever seen.
So what do you guys got to be scared of?
Scared? Well, who's scared?
How'd you make out with your car?
Oh, just fine. That little girl really knows what to do with a carburetor.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I knew I'd never get out. Hello. What can I do for you, boys?
Mr. Kaufman, we wanted to talk to you about that girl, you know, Halloran or Halloran?
Yeah, yes, sir, Halloran. That is, we've been thinking, what do we have to be scared of?
Are you scared?
No, no, no. I mean, we just thought it was very weird to have a girl on the team, that's all.
No, what happens if she turns out to be better than you guys?
Better. She's just a girl.
It's just a girl.
Yeah.
Nothing to be scared of.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, why don't you just give her a chance anyway? Otherwise, it makes us look bad.
Like we're scared.
Yeah, just give her a chance.
After all, what do you guys got to be scared of, right?
Right, right. That's just the way we feel about it, Mr. Kaufman.
Halloran. That's the team. Now, the rest of you guys, you keep trying, you hear?
Let's see, Munson made
Larry,
Oh, hi.
it was an oversight, wasn't it? A mistake? I mean, you were on the team last year.
No, it wasn't a mistake.
Was it because of Halloran?
Actually, it was because I wasn't good enough. Or serious enough, that's my problem.
Well, it's a way to get by. I mean, if you don't take things too seriously, then you can't get hurt.
That's right. That's right on the button.
Look, why don't we go out together? Maybe over the weekend. Go to a movie or something.
Why, you feel sorry for me?
Well, if I do, it's because I have a tendency to take things too seriously.
Only if you promise to keep your hands to yourself.
I'm not making any promises.
Egad, Silver Street, the woman is mad for you. Absolutely mad for you. But wait a minute. Think about this for a minute. Are you ready to become involved? What about your life, your career, your ambitions? Are you ready to tie yourself down to this creature of lust? Remember, men are only called manly when they regard themselves solely for the use of women.
Here's old 10 miles to the gallon. Where's that girl Shirley that did such a great job on your car?
She's not here.
Not here. This is 6th period, isn't it?
Right, but she left the course.
She left the course?
She wanted to be near her boyfriend.
I didn't know she had a boyfriend.
She does. I think his name is Ferguson.
Ferguson, that kid in cooking class? Now she's in cooking class.
No, she's in cooking class.
Pete, you know what I feel like right now? I feel like smoking a big, fat cigar.
Ellison.
Did you say something?
Well, I said my name is Larry Ellison. I've been wanting to meet you, and I didn't know how, so I figured the best way was to plunge right in, even if I make a fool of myself.
That took a lot of courage, Larry.
Well, I've been sitting over near that tree eating my lunch by myself since the semester started. And if I didn't meet you soon, the semester would be over, and I'd have to wait all summer for another chance. Did I say something wrong?
I think it's just because you managed to say everything in one sentence, which is quite a talent.
Well, it's not that I'm not used to talking to girls. It's just that it takes me longer to get acquainted.
I think you do just fine. Just fine.
Don't you know how bad Oh, hey, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't even see you. You know, man, you ought to wear a hat with a feather in it or something.
Why don't you look where you're going?
Woo! When you listen to the sounds that come out of it.
You're not very funny.
Lord, no, little fella. I mean, you the one who's breaking everybody up.
Don't call me little fella.
Well, baby, what you want me to call you, man? Moose? Hey, be cool, man. Be cool. Oh, wow. Look at that, dude. Let's get on out of here, baby, before Tiger here beats my brains out.
You didn't have to be so mean to him.
Mean? What's that mean? I thought I was pretty tolerant, considering I was the one who was attacked.
You started it. You provoked him.
Oh, look, baby, that little chump's been bugging everybody in school who's half an inch taller than he is. Look, if he wants to come on like such a big man, he's got to back it up with something more than his mouth. That was a joke. Come on.
And the clay streets of San Francisco became quagmires into which the city threw loads of brushwood and limbs of trees. As a result, mules stumbled in the streets and drowned in the liquid mud. Sometimes horse and wagon were swallowed up, the owner barely escaping. At the corner of Clay and Kearny, a sign was posted, "This street is impassable, not even jackassable." With that, class dismissed. Larry.
Huh?
Class is over.
Oh. Well, I was working things out in my head.
Like how to win friends and influence people?
He was making fun of me. He made me look like some kind of idiot.
I saw that little episode at lunch. Larry, don't you think you're taking this thing too seriously?
It happens all the time. People only like you for what you look like and not for what you are inside.
It's not always true.
I'm a shrimp and nothing can change that. I know, I've tried. I wore high-heel cowboy boots till I could hardly walk. I even tried stretching myself by hanging from the horizontal bar. But all I got from that was sore armpits.
You know something, Larry? A lot of short men have done pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, like Mickey Rooney and Napoleon. It's no use. I'm doomed to be a 97-pound weakling.
I identify with him. I really do. I, too, was a shrimp.
Being a girl shrimp is not the same as being a boy shrimp.
How do you tell the difference?
Well, anyway, Larry needs something to build his self-esteem. He's uptight and it's affecting his studies.
If only Larry could have picked up that Vic Martin and given him a twirl, like Superman.
There's an idea. Why don't we put in a call to the planet Krypton, calling Superman?
It might not be such a bad idea.
What, Superman?
Karate.
Karate? Don't you think that's a little bit extreme? I mean, you don't want to turn the kid into a killer.
Karate doesn't turn people into killers. It's quite the opposite.
That's true. It builds self-confidence. I was very interested in that when I was in the service.
Look, karate is designed to give man a sense of self-worth. But more than that, it makes him peaceful and gentle.
Okay, blind side kick. 1, 2, and front stretch. Ready.
Fight. 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 Fight.
Okay, punching. Ready.
Fight. 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 Fight.
Okay, front kick. Ready.
Fight. Fight.
Ah, yes. What we expect is always greater than what we get.
Emerson?
Seymour Coffin.
Don't worry. Larry will make it.
Sure he will. If those guys can make it, he can make it. I hope.
Okay, Larry, this is a kata, or design form, called Pyongan Nidan. It's a simulated defense against several attackers. Notice the yell, or the ki that he does. That's to help generate more power in his techniques. In this form, you're helping develop balance, coordination, power, endurance. You can see the tremendous power he's going through there.
Fall in.
Okay, everyone's dismissed except for Larry. I would like to work with you a little bit, Larry. Okay. Okay, let's work on that fighting stance now, Larry. If you're down in the fighting stance here. That's it. Okay, extend your left hand out in front of you. Oh, no, that's your right hand, Larry. That boy. Okay, now right hand back to your side here and clench your fist very tightly against your side. That's good. Okay, now feel yourself balanced now. Okay. See, now you don't put too much weight on that front leg. See, otherwise you get swept out from under you there. Okay. Okay, now you should be such a position now. If I push this extended fist, you shouldn't be moved. Okay? No. No. Oh,
Oh, you were going to tell me about the time when you were in the service, something about karate.
Oh, yes, you're dying to hear about that, aren't you?
I'm sure I eventually will anyway.
Well, it was during World War II. I felt called upon to help a little Italian girl that was being molested outside of a delicatessen in Rome. I subdued the guy that was molesting her with what I call a double arm lock whammy.
A double arm lock whammy. See, she must have been very grateful.
Oh, yeah. She was so grateful she hit me over the head with a salami. The guy that was trying to molest her was her boyfriend.
that's it. Straight like that. Okay, let's try it now. Okay. Ready? Fight! 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 Good, good.
Shortage of good English teachers, you know.
Wow, sorry, I didn't see you.
Yeah. Practice makes perfect, but don't you think you're overdoing it just a bit?
Well, you know, you gotta keep loose.
Right, yeah, you gotta keep loose, all right.
Yeah, because if you don't, you know, your muscle kind of tighten up.
Right, yeah. How's it coming anyway?
Oh, fantastic. It's really the greatest thing I've ever done.
Good. Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Ha! Ha!
Hi, Miss Dixon.
Hi.
I was just telling Miss Johnson about working out at the dojo every day after school. You know, Chuck Norris is the world karate champion. He's fantastic. You know, he can take on 5 guys at a time. 5.
It's pretty great. What are those for?
The boards?
Yeah.
Come on, I want to show you something. These boards are 1/2 inch thick. And they're cut from ponderosa pine.
Larry, don't you think
I place them together like this, which makes an inch thickness. Now what I'm going to do is simply chop these boards in half with one blow of my hand.
Mercy! Did you hear my man? He's gonna smash all those boards with his mighty hand.
You think you can do it?
No, man. Why would I want to do that? I might get the splinter in my pinky or something.
Well, I've been practicing karate for 3 weeks, see? And I can do it easy.
Well, show me, baby. Show me. Let me see your callus. Let me check you out. Baby, you can't do it. You ain't even got no callus on your hand. Everybody know you got to have at least 3 inches of callus on your hand.
Larry, it might be better if you showed me somewhere else.
I want to show him. I want to show him he can't push me around anymore. Any of them.
Dig him getting this thing together. Dig his concentration. Look out, y'all. He's gonna do it now. Shh. He's gonna do it.
To break boards, you have to combine concentration and inner strength and speed and power.
I'd like you to know I'm awfully sorry you hurt your hand.
It's fine. It's all right.
Well, the kids were kind of mean, but I hope you don't take them too seriously.
Heck no. I'm used to it.
I thought it was a very interesting demonstration. I mean, what you were trying to do.
I've done it before, lots of times. What happens, happens to the best in karate.
You know, Larry, you don't really need karate.
Oh, yes, I do.
I mean, you're very interesting without it.
Haven't you had enough fun at my expense?
I wasn't making fun of you. I meant that.
Sure you did. Like you dig me for my character.
Something like that.
Look, I may be short, but I'm not an idiot. You better get back over there to the one you really dig before somebody else gets him.
How's your hand?
It's okay. It's not my hand that hurts.
I know. It's your pride. But it wasn't exactly a failure.
What would you call it?
Minor setback. You just got a little ahead of yourself.
Well, I did it at the dojo. I broke 2 boards.
Well, you can't exactly depend on that Ponderosa pine, you know. Maybe it was a little green.
Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe that's why it wouldn't break.
Maybe you both were a little green. But in time, with a little ripening, you should be okay. Just don't give up.
Give up? I won't give up till I'm a black belt.
Good.
What happened?
It was stuck.
Why didn't you holler for help like everybody else? You know, you got him started on this stuff. Don't you think you better slow him down a little bit?
Well, you thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, but I didn't know he was going to turn into
A killer.
He hasn't hurt anybody, has he?
No, but if he keeps up like this, we won't have any doors left.
And I'm getting a tick in my face from those screams of his. Look, right here under my eyes, twitching. No, really, all the boys in my class think I'm winking at them.
Frankly, it worries me. A killer loose on the premises.
Oh, I think you're all just getting a little too uptight for nothing.
I thought you said this thing would make him more peaceful and gentle. Look, you call that being more peaceful and gentle?
Boy, Pete, you have created some kind of monster.
Pete, you know, we wanted him to have self-esteem, but what kind of self-esteem can he have when he's a joke to the whole student body?
Why, seriously, Pete, baby, don't you think he's becoming just a little bit obsessed? Like maybe he has some particular end in mind?
Like what?
I don't know, but the whole thing reminds me of David and Goliath. And you know what happened to that nasty old giant?
1, 2, 3. Yeah. I think you got it.
But just a couple more times, Mr. Norris. Please? I want to get it down perfect.
Well, okay.
This time, without the numbers.
Okay.
That was a pretty good throw you did out there.
It's my best one.
You think you could throw me?
Maybe.
How about Vic Martin?
I guess I could.
You know, Larry, the skill you're learning carries a big responsibility. I sure would hate to see you abuse it.
I don't think I know what you mean.
I understand how you feel about Vic Martin. He sort of represents all the big guys who ever put you down. But I would hate to see you use what you're learning to become the same kind of guy he is.
Hey, you were the one that turned me on to karate. Now you sound as though you don't want me to use it.
I know. But I never meant for you to learn the sport so you could get revenge on people.
What the heck is it good for then? You don't expect me to go around being a marshmallow when I don't have to, do you?
No. And by the same token, I don't expect you to go around trying to prove to people you're a big man either.
I have to prove something to myself, though. I'll meet you in the park across the street after school.
Well, nah. If it ain't my man, the Moose.
If you don't come, it's because you're chicken.
Baby, you got to be jiving.
You better be there, or I'll come looking for you.
I mean, it does have heart.
Just a man I want to see. Come with me. It's high noon out in the park. Larry? Who else?
Heard you was looking for me. You had told me I'd have wore my pajamas too. Look out! God, see, you didn't think I knew all that. You see, baby, it's all in the yell. Look out! Wow! Woo! Oh, wow. Look at that dude. Wow. Woo! Man, it's not fair. I mean, it's just not fair. Somebody could get killed messing with that karate or something. Oh, wow. Look at
that dude. You busy next Saturday night?
I'm afraid I am, Larry.
Well, how about Saturday after that?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I really thought you were great. But, well, I go with Ron Hensey.
Him? I guess it didn't do me any good to prove how tough I am. She's going with a cat that looks worse than I do.
Fortunes of war, Larry.
And you were right about karate, too. I'm only going to use it to strengthen my inner character.
Right.
Peace.
Where it was supposed to be, that's why we couldn't find it.
I understand perfectly.
Now then, I see you taught both in New York and New Jersey.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Well, your credentials and your background certainly very impressive, Mr. Baumberg. I think you'll be a great asset to our school.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
Well, welcome to Walt Whitman High. I think you'll find we have a nice school here, good cross-section of kids.
I'm sure I will enjoy them as much as they will enjoy me.
Oh, I hope so.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, Pete, come on in. This is one of our history teachers, Pete Dixon, Louis Baumberg.
Mr. Baumberg? How do you do, Mr. Dixon?
Mr. Baumberg is our new transfer teacher from the East. He's going to take over some of the civics courses.
Oh, yes, we've been expecting you. Well, if I can be of any help, I'd be glad to show you around the school or whatever. Thank you very much, Mr. Dixon. Meanwhile, I'd better get the administrative details taken care of.
Oh, yeah. I just see my secretary outside. He'll get you squared away.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaufman. It's been a pleasure. Mr. Dixon.
Seems like a nice fellow, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Anything strike you as a little odd about him?
No, why? Does it strike you that way?
Well, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. For a minute there, we were like two ships passing in the night. Well, I guess it's natural. Being nervous, new situation.
Who was nervous?
That's what I can't put my finger on. I don't know if it was him or me.
This is Civics 5, which is a course in civics. Nobody will fail this course. The reason nobody will fail this course is because when I get through with you, you will all rather join the Foreign Legion than fail this course. My name is Bomberg. It is not Bumberg, it is not Bemberg, it is not Bimbert. It is Bomberg. You'll all do yourselves a great favor by not mispronouncing my name. If anyone here is not taking Civics 5, now is the time to get out. Rapidly. You, what is your name?
Oh, Bernie.
I didn't ask you to get friendly with me. That's what they called you in kindergarten. What's your last name?
Miller.
Miller, will you please pass out these seating cards? Print your name with ink on the top, in English. Pass them back in order, so I will know who is sitting where. If your card does not match with your seat, it of course will be very embarrassing for you. You will notice that there are little boxes on the card underneath your name. When you do not know your work, I'll put a little circle in one of the boxes. When you do not know your work again, I'll put another little circle in one of the boxes. When your card starts looking like it's got the measles, you'll be very unhappy. The reason you'll be very unhappy is because I will be very unhappy, and I do not believe in being unhappy alone. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, there's that new teacher. Mr. Bomberg, would you care to join us?
Why, thank you, Mr. Dixon.
I'd be delighted. This is Miss Johnson of our English department and Miss McIntyre of our constant staff.
Well, I'm happy to meet you both.
Well, how do you like the school so far? You getting acclimated all right?
Well, I tell you, Mr. Dixon, schools are schools and kids are kids all over. No acclimation's really necessary. I've been a teacher a long time. What sort of counseling do you do, Miss McIntyre?
Personal problems, curricular, programming, the usual.
Well, I'm sure your workload will increase very shortly. Wish you the best of luck.
Beg your pardon?
Oh, we were just discussing the difficult art of communicating with kids.
Difficult? You find it difficult?
Well, in the context of present-day modern life, don't you?
I'm happy to say I found a safe and sane way of communicating with them, with very productive results.
Well, what is it?
First, you hit them on the head with a baseball bat 3 times. That's just to get their attention. Then you talk to them. Never fails.
Are you suggesting that the only way to get through to kids is to be tough with them?
Miss McIntyre, I wouldn't presume for a minute to suggest that that was the only way.
Well, that's something. You had me worried there for a minute.
No, there are many, many, many other ways to communicate with kids. All wrong.
Mr. Bomberg, your teaching methods interest me. With your permission, I'd like to sit in on one of your classes sometime.
Oh, you'd be most welcome to sit in any time, Mr. Dixon. It would be my extreme pleasure. All right, let's do it all over again. You got all day, I got all day. Now, what are the 3 branches of the federal government? Link.
The executive, the legislative, and the judicial.
Right! And what comprises the executive branch? Waters.
The presidency.
Right! What are you smiling about? You want a medal for knowing that? Any goon child knows that. All right, let's go on. What comprises the judicial branch? Alan.
The Supreme Court.
What else?
And all the other federal courts.
Right. And what comprises the legislative branch? Miller.
The Senate.
Not number 4. Do not laugh when there is a tragedy in our midst. Miller, you are a numbskull if there ever was one. We've been over this 5 times already. But you will not be a numbskull forever, because I will help you to overcome this terrible affliction. Now, what comprises the legislative branch?
The House?
The what?
Of Representatives?
The what?
The Congress?
Are you sure? What is it again?
The Congress.
Are you positive?
Yes.
Hallelujah! You'll never forget that again as long as you live, right?
No, sir.
I appreciate it. You know why it's important for all you hairy people to know what you're learning here? Simple. So you can decide what to overthrow when you get to college.
That Mr. Bomberg, man, he's driving us all crazy.
What do you mean?
Well, he's all the time ranting and raving, calling us names.
Names? What kind of names?
Stupid, knucklehead, nitwit. You know, he makes me very nervous.
Richie, do you mean he's picking on you?
No, he treats us all exactly the same.
Oh.
Like dogs. So can you get me out, please?
Well, Richie, I'm not quite sure I understand this. I mean, every teacher has his own way of excuse me. What is this? Are you all waiting to see me?
Yes, Miss McIntyre.
We certainly are.
Oh, they're here for the same reason I am. We all want out.
All?
All.
Right. Oh, no.
What, all of them? You mean like a mutiny? Oh, boy. Mutiny on the Bomber. I knew it. I knew there was something about that man.
Which the Constitution provides for. We have another visitor with us today, Mr. Seymour Kaufman, the principal.
Right ahead, Mr. Bomberg.
I intend to, Mr. Kaufman, because that is what the taxpayers are paying for. Now, before we go on, you two in the back, I want it quiet! What else does the president do? Alan.
He's Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy.
What else?
He, kind of signs the bills.
What do you mean he kind of signs the bills? You want to give me that in English?
He signs the bill.
And?
Or he vetoes the bills.
Thank you. And if the president theoretically represents all of the people, how many people does a congressman represent according to the 1960 census? Waters.
Oh, a couple of thousand.
What's the matter, Waters? You don't know the answer?
No, I know it. I just can't,
You just can't think of it, is that it? It was in your homework for today. Where were you?
I had to go to a meeting last night. I'm on the varsity W squad.
You're on the varsity W squad. You must be a very important man. Would you like to join the varsity N squad, too?
Huh?
The varsity N squad stands for non-compos mentis. It consists of nitwits, numbskulls, nincompoops, and knuckleheads. Back down the snake pit. Just tell them I sent you. Alan, since you know what the president does, you can now rejoin the living. Take your seat.
See you around. Snake Pit N Squad.
The 1960 census established the ratio of representation we have today. You in the back, what is the ratio?
I hope he doesn't mean me.
One representative for every 410,481 people.
Correct! assignment for tomorrow is chapter 6. And I'm telling you now, you better know it.
Thank you, Mr. Bomberg.
Anytime, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Kaufman.
Mr. Bomberg, I wonder if I might have a word with you.
Well, if you wonder hard enough, Mr. Kaufman, you'll eventually find out. What can I do for you?
Do you think you were a little too tough on him?
Tough? Tough, yes. Too tough, no.
You don't think so?
Mr. Kaufman, I'm not here to reward stupidity and laziness. I'm here to shame it in order to get rid of it. And if I'm too tough for them, then I really pity them in later life.
That's all very well, but I think your old-fashioned, no-nonsense approach threw your class into a state of shock.
Well, I don't feel that my job is to massage egos and soothe hurt feelings. My job is to pour a little knowledge and awareness into their heads so that it stays a while before dripping out.
Mr. Bomberg, I am absolutely certain that your method works with certain students. I am equally certain that other students will be frightened, retreat, and turn right off. I know in my case, I always found it impossible to learn with your type of teacher.
Mr. Kaufman, I've taught all my life. Not for money. You and I know there are better ways to turn a dollar. No. Because I like to teach kids to be smarter. It's good work, and I feel I do it well. I would not like to think of myself as obsolete. But if I am, then that's it. Is that what you've been getting at, Mr. Kaufman, that I'm obsolete?
Well, I feel that your methods are a bit dated. I don't think you have to shame a child into learning.
Every child knows. Some children, yes.
And you always know the difference.
Are you thinking of firing me? Is that what this is all about?
Frankly, I'm considering it.
I am what I am, Mr. Kaufman. I teach the only way I know how.
All right, Mr. Bomberg.
Mr. Kaufman, I would not like to think of myself as obsolete.
Hello, friends. It has finally happened.
What?
The Committee of Concerned Parents has demanded a meeting with me on the matter of one Louis Bomberg, teacher extraordinaire.
Well, I'm not sorry. You don't think they're wrong, do you?
No, but it's just that this is one decision I would have liked to have made myself with as little ranting and raving as possible.
Well, knowing them, they'll be out for his blood.
Well, wouldn't you? If your kid had been brutalized by that monster? Thank you. Wouldn't you?
Well, Mr. Bomberg isn't my ideal selection for Teacher of the Year, but...
Well, anyhow, as members of the teachers' organization, you're all invited to attend the execution. See you around. Let's try it by the numbers, shall we? Mr. Lewis.
Yes. Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Kaufman, as chairman of this committee, I have here a full bill of particulars, which you no doubt have already examined. Now, it's all here, the whole appalling story of the insults, the intimidation, the name-calling, N Squad. It's all here. Snake Pit, all fully documented. Numbskull, Nincompoop,
Nudnik.
Nudnik. Incidentally, what is that?
It's not good.
I dare say. Well, there it is, Mr. Kaufman. And we absolutely demand that you do something about this intolerable situation.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's hold it down, please. Now, Mr. Bomberg, would you like to say something?
Yes, I would. Thank you. Mr. Kaufman, Mr. Chairman, fellow teachers, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. I've been a teacher for many years. And in all my years as a teacher, I've never in my life heard such a petty list of imbecilic complaints. If you pussyfooting parents had the slightest semblance of ordinary responsibility, then maybe my job wouldn't be made so impossible.
Mr. Bomberg, please. Mr. Kaufman, are you going to take charge of this?
All right, let's hold it down, ladies and gentlemen. Please, everyone.
Mr. Kaufman,
Mr. Dixon.
perhaps Mr. Bomberg isn't his own best defender.
Perhaps.
Mr. Lewis, you asked a couple of the complaining kids to wait out in the hall.
I did.
Why don't we call them in and hear what they have to say about this?
Any light would help, Mr. Dixon.
Thank you. Michael, Helen, would you come in, please? We're just trying to get the truth of something, so don't be afraid. Michael, what did Mr. Bomberg do to you?
Well, he called me a lame brain. He also called me a numbskull.
Why did he call you those names?
I don't know. I guess because I didn't know an answer or something.
Is that your chief complaint with Mr. Bomberg? His name calling?
Well, it's no fun to be insulted like that. You know, I don't come to school to be insulted.
Of course not. Nobody does. Why do you come to school?
To learn.
Do you learn in Mr. Bomberg's class?
Sure, you learn all right. You learn or else.
Or else?
You get hollered at, insulted, teased. What about Helen? He made her cry when she didn't know an answer.
Is that true, Helen? What happened?
Mr. Bomberg asked me who the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is. And when I didn't know, he made me feel so bad, I just cried.
Now that's disgraceful. A teacher browbeating a child into tears.
Helen, you're in my history class, aren't you?
Yes.
I can remember you crying at least 3 separate times, isn't that right?
I guess so.
Why did you cry in my class?
I cry easy. If I'm angry or happy or anything, I'll pour the tears. I guess I'm just a crier. But can I say something, Mr. Dixon?
Go ahead.
Because I do cry easy doesn't mean that it wasn't Mr. Bomberg's fault. It was his fault. Why did he have to yell at me? I always work hard.
I know you do. Okay, thank you. Helen, who's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
Warren E. Burger, nominated to the Supreme Court by President Nixon and sworn in on June 23rd, 1969.
Thank you.
Mr. Dixon, why are you trying to whitewash Mr. Bomberg? A modern teacher like yourself doesn't condone his harsh methods.
Mr. Lewis, I admit that Mr. Bomberg's method isn't mine. But why should it be? If he cares so much about teaching that he's not afraid to ruffle a few feathers to get a job done, maybe we need more teachers like him. I sat in on his class, and I saw a man that was totally dedicated to teaching.
Yes, but the kids can't stand him.
Bomberg may be too tough, but he does know his subject. And I don't think you'll find that at the end of the semester, there will be any students who don't know their civics.
That may be so. But you don't excuse his calling the kids names the way he does.
No, I don't like it. But Mr. Bomberg does care about teaching. Oh, he may never win any popularity contest, but he is a good man to teach your kids civics. And I hate to see us lose a man with his talent and dedication.
Well, Mr. Dixon, I don't know but that you make a case. Perhaps we've been a little hasty. Mr. Bomberg, maybe some of us parents have pampered our children. Made them a little soft. I don't know.
Well, there lies the difference between us, Mr. Lewis, because I do know. And if you...
Excuse me? Why don't you let Mr. Lewis finish?
Of course.
But even if it is true, I don't think it's your job to toughen them up. Still, I wouldn't want to be responsible for a man losing his job. Especially when... Well, anyhow, I'm in favor of giving Mr. Bomberg another chance. What do you say?
Oh. Well, I'll go along with that.
How about the rest of it?
Yes, why not?
Well, if that's a consensus, we can adjourn. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
You're great, Pete.
Pete? Thanks. You certainly helped me make up my mind.
Wasn't Pete great, Liz?
Oh, he spoke well, all right. I'm not so sure he convinced Baumberg to change his ways, though.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. There's just one thing I want to take exception to. That business about me never going to win a popularity contest. How can you be so sure?
I can't tell you how relieved I am over the results of last night's meeting. Now, let's hope maybe Mr. Baumberg will modify his methods a little bit. Must have had a bit
Good morning, Miss Kaufman. Good morning, all.
Good morning, Mr. Baumberg.
So the revolution failed, huh? You're all trapped like boys and girls in a sinking ship.
He did say boys and girls.
That's what the man said.
Miss Johnson, I'm in the most incredible trouble with my mom again. You gotta help me.
Well, what happened this time?
Well, she never believes me. Last night... Oh! There's my boyfriend.
Yes.
I'll talk to you after lit today, okay, Miss Johnson? It's vital.
Real good, Margaret, sure.
No!
Oh, good morning, Alice.
Good morning.
Hi, Alice.
Hi.
Beautiful day, isn't it?
Is it? Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
Are you okay?
Sure, fine. Swell.
Were you up all night grading papers again?
Mm-hmm. Some kids came by, and then Margaret Peters phoned again. Well, I couldn't turn them away.
You know, you keep this up, you're going to be the best love teacher in the hospital.
At least I'd get some sleep. There are still a number of delinquent candy accounts. Any student on the delinquent list must turn in their money or the chocolates by Friday without fail. All right, Barney, would you and George please pass out the books Mr. Dragon has sent up?
Is that our next assignment?
Yes, Margaret. Shh.
Silas Marner.
Come on now. It's a classic.
Classics. That means it's guaranteed to put you to sleep, right? Why can't we study the books we like once in a while?
Because they ain't classic, man.
In a sense. See, they haven't withstood the test of time.
Yeah, but that don't mean that they aren't fun to read and that we can't learn lots from them.
Teachers think you only learn something when it hurts.
Now, that's not true, Barney. But we do have a certain curriculum we must follow.
Yeah, but I bet you'd rather read modern books just like us, wouldn't you, Miss Johnson?
Sure she would. She's not a creep like old man Dragan.
Dragan thinks anything after Nathaniel Hawthorne is science fiction.
Science fiction is practically pornography.
Not everyone has the same taste. Besides, Mr. Dragan is head of the English department.
So we gotta read a book he likes.
Miss Johnson, we just got through with the old classic. Why can't we study a book we want, and then we'll study that old Silas Marner?
Yeah, right on.
Well, do you have a book in mind, Pat?
How about Catch-22?
Catch-22?
Yeah, it won all kinds of literary awards, and lots of people think it's a really great book.
What's it about?
Well, see, there's this dude, Yossarian, and he's in the army, right? And he wants out. And the only way you can get out is to tell the medics you're crazy. But if he knows that he wants out, then he can't be crazy, so he's in, which really makes him crazy. And if the dude asks to get out, then he can't be crazy. So, I mean, that's Catch-22. Dig it?
Kind of reminds me of school.
Oh, come on, Miss Johnson. Be a good egg, please. Let's read the book we want, and then we'll read the book you want.
Miss Johnson's with us, Pat. She wants to study the same book as us. Don't you, Miss Johnson?
Well, all right. But first we'll study Silas Marner, then Catch-22.
Oh, why can't we do it the other way around? We're still recuperating from the mill on the floss.
Yeah, and we'll feel so great after Catch-22, we won't mind Silas Marner so much. It'll help the educational process.
Okay, Miss Johnson, Catch-22 first, please.
You know, we could use a few of you kids at the Paris peace talks. Okay, it's a deal. First Catch-22, but then Silas Marner.
Best teacher at Whitman.
You can say that again.
Best teacher at Whitman.
It's my boyfriend. My parents don't approve, especially Mom, so when I called you last night...
Oh, yes, at 11 o'clock.
I was with Mo.
Oh, Miss Johnson, you thought about that bee of mine yet?
Barney, I can't tell. I remember what you told me to tell the board about, and I... Oh, yes, I have it. So what am I supposed to do? You didn't take
If I handed it tomorrow, would that be all right?
Shut up, George. I told my mother I was studying...
Margaret, handed what tomorrow?
Mill on the floor's book report. I know I said today, but I'll get it tomorrow for sure.
Was that the one that was due 2 weeks ago?
See, if I don't get that B in English, no track team. No track team, no scholarship, no nothing. I'm gonna be in serious.
Please, Miss Johnson. So if you could just sign this note saying that we were studying together last night.
See, if I don't get that B, I've had it. Why stay in school?
I can't sign this note, Margaret.
Will it be all right? The book report, I mean.
Yes, I guess so.
Oh, swell. Hey, you're great, Miss
Oh,
Johnson.
you've got to, Miss Johnson. It's the truth. We talked for a long time. That was studying.
Miss Johnson, my whole future depends on that B, so you will give it to me.
Would you step in here a moment, please? I'd like a word with you.
In just a second, Mr. Dragan.
I don't have much time.
I have to go.
Oh, please. You're not like the other teachers. You understand. Just initial it, okay, Miss Johnson?
Now, you will explain the particulars to your mother, won't you, Margaret?
Oh, sure, of course. I promise. Oh, thanks. You're great,
Oh,
Miss
Miss
Johnson.
Johnson.
Fantastic.
What about my B?
We'll see. I have to talk to Mr. Dragan.
Can you ask him what he thinks of Catch-22?
When Mr. Kaufman was sergeant in my department, I was a little less than enthused. But from all reports, it appears you've been able to instill into your students a rare enthusiasm, which I shall be only too pleased to know to my evaluation report of your work at the end of the semester. Well done, Miss Johnson.
Thank you.
Now then, how is your Lit Class 204A getting on with Silas Marner?
Oh, well, Mr. Dragan, what I've done is, well, the class is sort of aiming at Silas Marner. You know, getting in the mood, preparing.
Good. Great book. My personal favorite. And perhaps the greatest book in our entire curriculum. Well, keep up the good work, Miss Johnson. Oh, Miss Johnson,
Yes, Mr. Dragon.
get some sleep.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Having any problems?
Oh, no. I left some papers in my desk that needed marking. I just thought I'd get here early, but I didn't realize that the doors would be locked.
You didn't realize.
That the doors would be locked.
I see. Okay, kid, what are you doing here?
Kid? Look, I'm Miss Johnson. I happen to be a teacher.
That's funny. Most teachers know what time school starts. What do you teach, kid?
English.
English, huh? Okay, who wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin?
Uncle Tom's Cabin? Well, that's easy. That's simple. Well, let's see. Everybody knows Uncle Tom's Cabin.
It's a book.
Well, I didn't think it was a motel.
All right, don't get wise.
Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Who was the bad guy?
Simon Legree. And do you want me to tell you who he reminds me of?
Okay. I guess you're a teacher, all right.
Thanks.
Do you mind if I give you a word of advice?
What is it?
Don't burn the candle on both ends. It ain't worth it. Try to get some sleep at night, Miss Johnson.
You're not an emergency clinic, Alice. You know, you're not supposed to be on duty 24 hours a day.
But they're such great kids, Pete.
Sure, but you can't do everything. Teach your regular classes, give special tutoring, and handle their individual emotional problems. It's too much.
How'd you like to coach the baseball team on the side?
Well, I am getting a little worn down, but...
What time did you get to bed last night?
Well, after I finished grading some of these quiz papers about... Oh, no, then Natasha Rogers called, and then Margaret again. Oh, about 1:32.
Alice, you have got to learn how to say no.
Pete's right. You've got to draw the line. I mean, I'm a sensitive, sympathetic counselor, but I don't get phone calls all hours of the night.
How do you manage it?
Leave the phone off the hook.
Of course it's a comedy. A black comedy.
How can you tell a book about war and men getting killed funny? Yeah, but that's what black comedy is. If you don't laugh, baby, you'd be crying all the time.
I disagree. Personally, it's an immoral book. Don't tell me. My father was in World War II, and this makes it all sound like it was crazy.
So what did your father think about the book?
I don't know.
Well, Barney, why don't you ask him?
Okay.
All right, read the next 3 chapters for tomorrow.
I know immorality. Yes.
Miss Johnson, you must be a veritable miracle worker.
Really?
To see a class so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed after 40 minutes of Silas Marner, you know, that proves that our students can learn to appreciate the classics if they're taught with enthusiasm and verve.
Thank you.
You know, tomorrow, I'm going to permit myself a very special treat.
What treat is that, Mr. Dragon?
I'm going to witness firsthand what you're doing with Silas Marner. I'm going to audit your class. See you, Miss Johnson.
What's the matter? You're not hungry?
Oh, no, not very.
All right, Alice. Come on. What's on your mind?
You know, teaching Silas Marner?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not exactly teaching Silas Marner.
You're not?
I'm teaching Catch-22.
Figures?
No, you don't understand. You see, the kids felt...
Let me guess. The kids felt that Silas Marner would be a drag, but that Catch-22 would be fun, right? And you felt the kids would hate you if you forced them into that dusty old classic. But if you allowed them to read a swinging modern classic, they'd love you. Am I close?
Exactly. But that's still not all. Mr. Dragon's going to audit my class today. What am I going to do, Liz?
I tell you what I'd do.
What?
For openers, I'd pray.
Pray?
Pray.
What do you mean we've gotten all we can out of Catch-22?
We're hardly even into it.
What's going on, Miss Johnson?
Sounds like cop-out time to me.
Yeah. We had an agreement, remember? Catch 22 first, then we dig into Silas Marner. Now, would you please get out your copies of Silas Marner?
Mine is home.
Mine, too.
We didn't know we were supposed to bring them.
Of course you didn't. All right, let's go on with Catch 22.
Yeah.
Barney, you were going to ask your father what he thought of the book. Has he read it?
Yeah, he said he read it when it first came out.
Excuse me, Miss Johnson. People, please go on, just as if I weren't here.
Yes, of course. Well, now, where were we? Oh, yes. Barney, you were about to tell us what your father thought of the book.
Oh,
well, I'm not...
Wonderful. Now, that's wonderful, Miss Johnson, bringing the views of the parents into the classroom. Oh, sorry. Go on, just as if I weren't here.
Go ahead, Barney.
Oh, well,
It's all right, Barney. Now go ahead. What'd your father have to say?
Well, he said a lot of things in the book were exaggerated. Like the way the nurses in the hospital cared more about their personal problems than they did about the patients.
Yes, practically everything in the book was exaggerated. Now, what do you think the author's intent was in exaggerating reality the way he did? Pat?
Well, it's just like in a painting. Sometimes the artist has to exaggerate certain features in order to get his point across.
Yeah, like the cat who cornered the whole cotton market in Egypt. That was impossible. But, you know, there were cats in the army stealing stuff and selling it.
Good. Now, does anybody else have an...
Excuse me just a moment, Miss Johnson. I must have come in here somewhere in the middle. Hospitals, nurses, stealing cotton. Now, I don't like to interrupt, but could someone please tell me what happened to Silas Marner and all this? Miss Johnson? I'm not upset, Miss Johnson. But I am seriously disappointed.
But Catch-22 is a marvelous novel.
It's a controversial novel, my dear. Silas Marner, on the other hand, is a time-tested classic. More importantly, it's on your teaching plan. Therefore, I suggest you teach it.
I was going to.
Miss Johnson, as you know, this is the first year of your probationary period.
Yes, sir.
Not a very promising beginning, is it? Not at all. From now on, Miss Johnson, you must place your trust in Silas Marner.
I'll try.
I hope so. I sincerely hope so.
Excuse me, Mr. Dragon. Miss Johnson, you wanted in Mr. Kaufman's office right now.
Dear Miss Peters, this is to let you know that your daughter Margaret Celestine Peters was studying with me last night as she claims she was. Yours very truly, A.J.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, come in, Miss Johnson. I don't believe you've met Margaret's mother, Mrs. Peters.
No, but I certainly wanted to meet you and find out what you thought you were doing when you signed that note. I'm sorry, Miss Johnson. Honest isn't a word I want to hear from you, Margaret.
I think I can explain, Mrs. Peters.
Please do. My daughter goes hoop-de-dooing off with a boy all hours of the night, and her teacher signs a note saying that she is studying. What do you teach, Miss Johnson? Sex education?
I don't think that's fair, Mrs. Peters. I think there's a reasonable explanation.
Well, I'd certainly like to hear one.
Miss Johnson?
Well, I'm afraid I did sign the note. We were studying. She did call me. I suppose that's a little misleading, but...
You were studying on the phone? What kind of a story is that?
It's a true one. I'm certain, Mrs. Peters, it's too far out to be anything else. I am equally certain that Miss Johnson was doing what she thought was best for Margaret, weren't you, Miss Johnson?
Be that as it may, Mr. Kaufman, you cannot explain away the fact that one of your teachers joined in a conspiracy to deceive a parent, and I don't like it, not one bit. Come on, Margaret, I want to talk to you.
I'm sorry, Miss Johnson.
Miss Johnson, do you know why a teacher teaches for 3 years before he receives tenure?
Well, I suppose if he or she can't do his or her job, he or she can be let go or fired.
Exactly.
You gonna fire me, Mr. Kaufman?
Miss Johnson, I like your enthusiasm for teaching. I like your dedication, but aren't you aware of what this kind of foolish, thoughtless behavior can lead to?
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm afraid that's not good enough. Now, look. You've asked me if I'm going to fire you. I can only tell you that at the end of the semester, I will review your work and Mr. Dragon's evaluation, and I'll make a decision.
Thank you, Mr. Kaufman.
Oh, don't thank me because, well, I just hope I never hear anything like this again.
Yes, sir.
And Miss Johnson, I will be listening very carefully.
Alice, don't you think Mr. Kaufman was justified in reading your...
I guess so.
Alice, do you want to be a teacher?
Of course I do.
Then why don't you act like it?
But what do you mean?
Well, your first responsibility is to teach English, right? Well, you've let your students' personal problems interfere with that job.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a flop.
Alice, if you're ever going to teach, you've got to get over this idea that your students have to love you. They don't. What they have to do is learn. And what you have to do is teach them.
But I don't know where to start.
Start with Silas Marner.
All right. Look, it's 3 weeks since I committed the treasonous act of forcing you to put aside Catch-22 and read Silas Marner. You didn't want to study Silas Marner. I didn't particularly want to teach it. But what about Silas himself and the life he lived?
You call that living?
What do you call it, Barney?
Personally, it's a pretty miserable existence.
You mean because Silas was a miser?
Sure, all he cared about was money.
He certainly wasn't the most fun-loving cat in town.
Is the meaning of Silas Marner that money is bad?
Well, all it bought old Silas is being lonely.
Yeah, but that's because he used it like a shield to keep people away from him, right?
Oh, come on.
Okay, stop. Know what we've been doing? Thinking about Silas Marner. Arguing about it. And I bet some of us have actually been enjoying it. See? It's possible.
Hey, so that's why when he lost all that old gold, he was, like, vulnerable. And he could love that little girl, Eppie, right?
In other words, when he lost the money, he was forced to change, right? Yeah. Okay, now remember, this is a time when England was changing. The Industrial Revolution was coming on like a steam engine.
So that hanging on to gold was like hiding from change. If you don't hang loose, you're dead.
Right. That's right.
What do you think of Jason's interpretation of Silas Marner, Mr. Dragon?
Oh, well, it is a somewhat unorthodox view of the book.
It wasn't the gold that was bad, it was Silas believing in it. Don't you think everybody's got to change their beliefs once they find out they're dragging behind the times?
Well, actually, you have a very interesting point there.
You mean you believe in revolution?
In change. In change, I hope there is a difference.
Some people think one's impossible without the other.
Is that what you think, Pat?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, what about the changes that have taken place in this country over the years?
What kind of changes?
Well, what ones can you think of?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dragon, but I think I'm right.
No, Jason, the thoughts of Chairman Mouse simply don't apply to Silas.
But, Mr. Dragon, I think I'm right.
I don't care.
Have you decided about my B yet, Miss Johnson?
Yes. You'll get a B if and when you earn it. And it's well within your capacity.
You know something, Miss Johnson? You've changed.
Well, that's what Silas Marner was all about, wasn't it?
Miss Johnson, you're never going to believe this.
But what?
But I'm in trouble with my mother again, and I gotta talk to you.
Look, Margaret, we're going to have to limit our conversations to what goes on in class. Now, you have friends to discuss your personal problems with. And if they're serious, you can go see your counselor.
Between the hours of 8 and 4:10 in my office, okay, Margaret?
Oh, swell, Miss McIntyre. Sweating.
I've been trying to get up the nerve to do that for weeks.
Well, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Well, actually, it's a great relief. Except
what?
Well, Margaret says she has another problem with her mother.
About what?
Well, that's just it. Now it looks like I'm never going to find out. And then Mr. Dragon said he had never encountered so many far-fetched interpretations of a book.
Is that good?
No, but he said he'd never encountered such enthusiasm either.
That is good.
So what are you going to teach next?
Well, we're going to finish Catch-22.
Catch-22?
Yes, Mr. Dragon said it was all right since the class handled Silas Marner the way they did.
Well, you should be very proud.
Oh, I am. And Mr. Dragon even preferred Catch-22 to a classic. One of the kids suggested we study.
Dragon did to a classic? Which one?
Lady Chatterley's Lover.